Okay guys, I'm at a different spot here. So this is a beaver lodge that I found last year. I had been trapping out and about upstream a ways a few years back and had made my way down as far as like all this red dogwood and all this brushy stuff up here, not knowing exactly where I was. I just knew I'd come down stream a ways from the parking lot up there. So I had come up here, just worked my way through brush and stuff to get over here. I caught some big beaver. I think I caught a 55-pounder by like the back leg or something in a 330, so that was a little bit crazy. That was a couple years ago before I made my channel, so you won't get to see any of that probably. Last year I came back and this lodge was fresh. This wasn't here the year previous when I'd been trapping around here, but so up there's a pond with this creek that flows behind the pond, and I caught a bunch of beaver and worked my way down, and I knew downstream a ways there was another public land access, so I decided to check it out one time and realized that all I had to do was go down the road half a mile, quarter of a mile or so, and I could get into the public land access and get to the same spot that I was walking like, half a mile to get to. So I came in here last year and I had gone, downstream a ways. I'd caught some beaver. Then this lodge was new and I'd set it up last year, and all I was catching was muskrats. And if you look right here, so this lodge is decent sized. But right here, there's a perfect little channel right where they come out of the water, and they're coming up onto this lodge to mud it up and add to it. And it's just like a perfect little cut. It's like the perfect size for a 330. So I stuck a 330 in there last year, just nothing, just kept not catching. I wasn't using lure or anything because I'd used a bunch of caster mounds in the area before, and so I knew I probably had some lure shy beaver, some trap shy beaver. So today I came in with a 330. I'm gonna maybe try it, but I also brought a snare with me, so we'll maybe try to set the snare. It might be a good spot right here for it. I'm gonna just kind of walk around here and see if there's a different spot that's better. But this is like as good as it gets, guys. Well, there might be a run right here on the lodge. Gotta be careful I don't break an ankle or something. So I had set some 330s last year. That wasn't working. I came in with some footholds. That wasn't working. It just kind of felt like defeat after defeat. So I kind of gave up on the spot, and I thought maybe I'd come back in the spring, but then I picked up a new property and was trapping there all the year long, the rest of the season. So that's the landowner I've talked about and shown you guys in almost all my videos. But I figured I'd show you guys a change of scenery a bit. So I'm gonna try to get the snare in here. Although I'm just realizing I forgot to bring all the wire and the anchor and everything to make sure I don't lose the snare if I get a beaver in it. So I might have to improvise a bit. I can probably cross stake it pretty good where a beaver won't be able to get out. We just got to see what kind of magic we can work. So, okay, well, let me see if I can gather up some sticks. That might work as a good anchor for this. This one might be good. I don't think a beaver's getting out of this, unless of course he chewed it off. But I don't know. Only one way to find out. Nice thing about using a stick like this as if for some reason the beaver did chew it off. I mean, he's just gonna have a snare around him, but he should be okay. Let's see. Here, the snares have to be at least half submerged. So I think I'm going to drive this down into the clay bottom, like so. And let's see what kind of size I want on my snare loop. Let's see. Trying to think how I'm going to anchor the snare in here, guys. You know what I might do? Okay, I'm just going to abandon the snare idea. You know what? I'm going to go for it with the 330. Okay, this is a Duke 330. And I seem to have my trigger stuck through the spring here. How do we manage this? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna try to get in and out quick, guys, because the more I'm fumbling around this beaver lodge, I don't want to spook them too much. Move that over a bit. That trigger wire is bent. All right. All right. So there's this. See if I can get this one off. Okay, so I don't know how well you guys can see this, but there's my 330 in the water. I'm just going to get one more stake to stake the other side out. Something nice and dead. All right, this should hold. Now I'm just gonna take some of this grass. I've learned this from 330 Maniac, and just kind of cover up the outline of the trap a bit. Kind of maybe lean this over the top. Kind of break up the outline of those jaws. And so here I'll get down on my knees and I'll show you actually what this beaver is going to be looking at. Hopefully I can do this without getting my waders filled up. So if you get down, I'm going to get my GoPro at water level. We're going to, the beaver's head's going to be just above the water, so somewhere around here. He's going to see opening on the other side. He's going to see this grass, and he's going to see a little bit of light coming through the other side. So he's going to know he can go through here. He's used to coming up on this trail anyways to mud it all up and set it up to get it ready for the winter. So he'll hopefully swim right through that trap, go head first into it, and hopefully we'll have a nice beaver floating here. So since this lodge was a starter lodge last year, it's actually quite a bit bigger. So I'm guessing there's at least a family in there. I don't know how many, but there's only one way to find out. Just to let it soak, and we'll see if we can get anything. I'm gonna end the video here, guys. I might see you in a different spot. Might see you, might not. I was thinking about setting up a spot here. There's a little bit of a run, but I might head downstream a little bit and scout. And maybe I'll turn the camera back on, maybe I won't. Who knows? All right. Peace out. See ya on down my trap line. Over between two creek systems, and we've got the big creek on this side, and then back over this way we have a smaller creek system, which you guys will see in some of my muskrat trapping videos. I've got some traps set, you know, through this winding creek. It's a smaller feeder creek that feeds the big one, and I found some undercut banks over there to stick some 110s, and found some holes and caught some muskrats, a few of them. So there's that creek that feeds the big creek, and then like right here there's a trail kind of beat down. There's some channels, I'll show you guys that. We'll head down here quick. There's one channel right here that feeds into that creek, and then there's another channel that kind of winds off and also comes out of that creek. And then they kind of wind their way back here. When there's high water, this channel goes all the way back to a culvert that goes under the road and into town. So I'm sure there's like coons and stuff back here too, but it's always hard to find a good spot to set a trap because there's a lot of rocks and stuff back here, and it's just hard to find a good spot to get your trap in the ground. And there's not always water here all the time. It's just we've had a lot of rain lately, so now there's a good steady flow going through, probably draining out of town and into the creek. But anyways, I've come up this way before, and the otters seem to be using this spot. They'll come up out of this creek, out of these channels, hop out, and then come up over the railroad tracks here. Cross over the tracks, and then they'll head down here. I found a lot of scat going down this way. You can actually see, like, they probably either come right this way or they kind of cut underneath this little bush right there. I found scat all down this trail before, and then I was over here not too long ago, and I seen that there were some fresh tracks right here. Ooh, got a face full of spider web. You can see, like right here, there's some tracks. I have to get in and look at it a little bit more closely, but there were some defined otter tracks right there. So they were kind of coming up right here. And it makes sense, you know, it's a little bit steep right there. It's not as steep right at this point. So they're going to come up where it's not as steep. They don't want to work extra hard if they don't have to. So they're going to find the easiest point to come up, which is right here. So what I'm going to do is I have a 330 with me. I have a Duke 330, I believe. And I'm going to set a 330 right here and see if I can't catch an otter. I gotta see before I dive in if I can find some good sticks to stake my trap down and kind of stabilize it. Oh yeah, guys, so right here you can see there's actually some fish scales. I'll kind of kneel down so you guys can get a better look at it. There's some fish scales in this pile of otter scat. So yeah, there's some there. There's some right there. So yeah, the otters are using this spot. So let me find some good sticks. Let me look. I see a good dive stick to put over the top of the trap. This one could be decent. Might be too, yeah, it's too dead. Now you want to use dead sticks for this because there are beaver on this creek, and if you use a live stick, the beaver will come through and chew your stick off. But you don't want it so dead that it just breaks on you when you try to drive it into the ground. This will be one good one. Let's see if I can scrounge up another one for you guys. I'll probably just break one off right here. Okay, so we got a couple of good sticks. I'm going to take them and I'm going to drive them in the water here, right about where I think my trap would fit perfectly in between them. And kind of, it's really silty right here. There's a lot of silt, so it's kind of hard to get a hole deep enough where my trap's going to be half submerged, because here in Wisconsin you have to have your 330s at least half submerged in the water. So you can drive this stick down into the silts right here. This one should work right about here. There's some nice clay underneath the silt, so I can feel my stake drive down into that clay, and that'll help keep it stable and help prevent any otters or beaver or anything that comes through here from pulling the trap away. All right. So right here is my Duke 330. Kind of wrapped up a little bit. I'll get this thing set, get it in the water, and then we'll go check my muskrat line on that small creek I just showed you. Okay, got my trap set. I'm gonna keep my hand on top of that dog to make sure that it doesn't come off as I mess with these springs, because that's happened before. Trap is sprung. Luckily, you know, I try to keep my hands away from the trap. You don't want your hand in one of these guys. Dangerous things. Keep the trap away from my body because the safeties are now off. Probably not the way you're supposed to do this, but I don't feel like reaching in the water with a live trap as safe to try to take the safeties off. So I just take the safeties off ahead of time. Gonna get this 330 in the water here, and then make sure we can get it nice and halfway submerged. Okay, now this thing's half submerged. Got my safeties off. Gonna find my cable. And it's right here. I'm gonna take this fiberglass rod and put my stake through it. And then I'm just going to use this as a little blocking on the side here. So that's going to go right down there. No ways anything getting away with that. I kind of moved some little sticks and stuff over to the side to kind of keep the otter from trying to come through here. So there's that. Here's a little stick here. I might just kind of stick this right here so they don't pop through there. So that's that. I might kind of see if I can get some of this mud out of here so it doesn't look like such a steep spot for them. So they actually think they can get through there. Okay, I'm not going to recommend this at home, guys. But that trap's live. You know, I'm not going to risk it. I thought about sticking my foot down there and using it to clear some mud. But no, I'm not going to risk that. Be kind of a stupid thing to do. I'm going to use my trap setters here. Kind of move some of this mud and muck off to the side. And then I'm going to see if I can kind of use my, didn't bring a shovel. I'm going to see if I can use my trap setters to kind of make this a little bit more gradual. Get in here and pry some of the stuff out of here. All right. There's a rock right there. All right, I'm gonna kind of just slick it up a little bit with my boot. Kind of make it look a little bit more like a slide. Get this. All right, so I kind of like it. I don't have any lure with me. Sometimes I'd put some otter lure right here. I might come back later time and add some lure. But as of right now, I'm liking it. I think I might just put this big stick kind of a little bit over the top. And see if I can stick that like that. Kind of make them go under that trap there. All right. We're gonna call that good for now. I'll see you if I have any other catches. Okay guys, I'm at my last stop of the day. I'm at the pond. I haven't got anything yet, but I set a couple traps. You guys just saw that a few minutes ago. Come to the one side of the culvert. There's my Bridger number 5. Still set right at the base. Come over here. Didn't see any beaver floating. I still hear water trickling. And if you look down here, we got ourselves a muskrat again. This is the 3rd muskrat I've caught in this Bridger number 5 set at the base of this culvert. The beaver were plugging it up, so I'm trying to get a beaver, but the muskrats keep plugging it up first. So I'm gonna get him taken care of, get him out of the trap, get it reset. So hopefully that beaver comes through again. And I'll see you guys whenever I see ya. So stay tuned.